All right, so in today's video, I got something special for you because we recently acquired, or not acquired, but two clients signed up with us recently, and I wanted to go over the three systems that we implement immediately to get our clients results, and let's go over it right now. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and I help agency consultants and beginners get their first high level client or maybe the next by focusing on the fundamentals before we even implement AI or automations. All right. So today's video, I got something special. As I said, we recently got two new clients, and I wanted to go over uh, the things that we implement immediately. I mean, there are other things that we implement or we execute, but these are on the high level side, on the system side. I wanted to show you exactly the three things that we implement, and I want to go over them with you and going step by step. All right. If you want more detailed information about some of the things that we execute and implement for our clients, I would suggest that you either sign up to our online community. The link is below in the description, and follow along with us as on this journey as we um, you know uh, onboard these new clients. All right, let's get to it. All right, so as I was saying, the two immediate things that we need to do that we do is to give some visible results for our client is set up their reply review AI. If the client has already reviews, we want to go ahead and uh, reply to those reviews using review AI, and then also set up the chat widget, right? And that we want to, uh, in this case, we did not create the website, so we're going to be hopefully working with the website designer of the client, and we're going to send over the code over to uh, their side so that they can um, actually there's the website widget that we're going to send over, as well as the DNS settings for the client. And so maybe on this video, we're going to go ahead and set up the reply AI, and then also set up the chat widget, the code that we're going to send over to the website developer, right? And then also provide the DNS code, DNS records that we can send over to the website because we don't have access to it. So there are going to be times when you don't have access to the DNS, the domain DNS settings. And so we're going to just have them set it and then wait for them to set the records, and then for us to go ahead so that we can set up the email system on our end. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and so now this is an account that we have access to their Google Business profile, right? All right. So let's go to reputation right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to actually, um, this is live, so just bear with me. Actually, in order for us to go have access, we have to go to settings under integration. So let's go to settings. All right, so then we go to integrations. All right, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go and connect the Google account. So you're not going to see Google Business Profile in here until as you can see, there's a lot of integrations. You're not going to be able to see the Google Business Profile until you connect the Google account, right? So let's go ahead and connect the Google account. All right, so let's log in. All right, so now I've go to my phone. I would say, yes, it's me. And then, okay, there we go. And then let's go to continue, continue. All right, so now we've connected, and then if you scroll down, you will see right here Google Business Profile. So you're not going to see that until you connect your Google Business, your Google account, right? And then now we're going to connect. So now this specific account, um, I have multiple because this is actually this is where we have all of our clients' Google Business Profile. So for the sake of privacy, I'm going to cut this portion out, right? So just bear with me. When you click connect, you're going to see a list of all the, whether, the Google Business account that you want to connect, and all you got to do is just connect that account. All right. So when you connect, when you click on that button for Google Business Profile, you're going to see all the Google Business Profile that is associated with this email account. And in my case, I have a bunch of my clients here. Now I'm going to move this over. Now the specific account that you want to connect, you're going to just highlight or check off which specific one, and then you're going to connect it right here. So once you check it off, you're going to connect. Now, one thing I want you to understand over here is these are connected channels. Now you can connect, like add WhatsApp, you could add a phone number. I don't at this particular time connect any phone numbers. Um, it depends on which plan that they're on within my company for my specific channel. I mean plans, um, and then um, because for my specific plans, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go into that, right? My goal here is to give the quickest wins so that it's visible to the client, so that at least they see that there's movement on for what they paid for. Okay, so that's ultimately what I'm trying to do here. Okay, um, these connected channels are regarding their social media. So my lowest plan in the middle tier does not give. I try not for my clients to get into my system, right? Because the system is operating and doing its thing to deliver them results. And so they're not going to be in it and utilizing these specific channels. The only thing I'm concerned is connecting the Google Business Profile. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so just FYI, when I was going through that process, even though it says connect, it didn't do anything. So just to verify that it did went through, I would refresh the screen and see that it's connected. Okay, um, just the way how HighLevel sometimes acts a little quirky in that way. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the reputation. Okay, so as you can see here, right, it's giving you all of the steps. So right now uh, it's connected Google Business Profile, and now we're going to configure the Review AI. And so um, for us to do that, we're going to go to Settings, and then Review AI. We're setting it to auto respond. Now here, I would set it for about 30 to 1 hour, right? I would say 30 minutes. That's what I typically um, before it auto replies, right? And then typically they're utilizing, let me go move my face over here, is the legacy review AI. I would turn that off, and I would disable it, and I will create a new agent because there are better agents than the legacy one. The legacy one is the old one. So I would disable this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create new profession, right? Create new agent, I mean. And so there are different templates that are available, right? In most instances, I think I utilize the Claire Flare. Now, if your agent has a little bit of quirkiness, then you can use these other ones, but typically the Clear Flare does its job, and I would probably pick that as the most professional one, right? Agent name here, professional dynamic. dynamic means that it'll actually respond in different languages, I believe, right? So it'll pick up, like if they wrote a review in Spanish, it will pick it up and reply in English. I think, and so now in terms of the review type, right? You can, if the client choose, this is all depending on your onboarding, right? If they only want to reply to certain reviews, like I tend to have the review aid does a pretty good job of um, responding to negative reviews. The only concern I think I saw once is that it actually talked about giving refund. So if that's a concern, I probably have to go to one of my clients that's on my to-do list, is to uh, put into the prompt not to specify to give refunds, right? Um, so this is something that you have to probably discuss with your client as to how you want to, if you want to do all reviews. I generally prompt it to do all reviews, and then we're going to click save, right? Now, there are 6 unreplied reviews, right? So in this case, 6 reviews is probably something I would do. I would probably go ahead and just go reply to those reviews to test it out to make sure that the review AI is working, right? If there are multitude, you can create a drip mode so that it can go to respond to those previous reviews that has no replies, right? Um, so let's go ahead and go to, so you will click on reviews. So let me go back. Let's see if reviews. All right. So um, here is all the reviews. Now, if you connected like Facebook and other, it'll show here. But in this case, it shows just the Google reviews. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to test it out and see how it handles the AI. And so let's just go ahead and do AI reply, and then it's generating. So as you can see, this is in Spanish, right? And then it's going to, um, it does it in Spanish. Let's go back to settings. And then I told it to, let's go back to edit, and it's fixed English, right? So let's go to save. So even if they reply, even they wrote the review in Spanish, we still want to reply in English. All right, so let's go back. So let's go ahead and reapply this, and then it should do it in English, hopefully. I set it for, all right, perfect. So I think even if they wrote in Spanish, then we're just gonna go ahead and then we're gonna reply in English, okay? And then we're gonna click send, and then that will be replied in their Google Business profile. So I'm not gonna do the next one until maybe a couple of minutes later. So I'm gonna go and return to this. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set up the chat widget, okay? All right, so let's go back. Let's go to sites, and then we're going to go to chat widget here, and we are going to create a simple chat widget that is going to be SMS and email chat. So basically, it's going to collect their information, right? I am not at this point ready to um, set up any conversational AI because we have a lot going on. As we onboard a client, we're setting up the Google Business Profile. We're optimizing that as well. And we're also, for this particular client, we're setting up the Google local service ad. And so, but we want to get we want to deliver quick results, right? And if we decide later that we're going to implement conversational AI, then that requires a little bit more thought, and it's got to pull information from their website, and so that's a lot involved. So right now we're just going to do SMS and chat widget. And so what we're going to do here is let's rename it to chat widget. Um, let's see here, chat widget, right? And then here, what we're going to do is the only thing that I may do is look at their website, right? And make sure that um, the colors match, right? And so I'm going to just go and take a look at it. All right, so based on what I'm looking at, I think this color is going to be good. Okay, so yeah, it's green. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at their website, and the only thing that I probably want to change is I don't want this because everybody uses that. Um, so basically, I'm not going to change any of the settings, right? Because at the end of the day, I just want to quickly deliver for this client, right? And so let me hit chat window here. I think where is we want to collect their name, phone number, and their email. So let's collect their email, right? Um, and then where is the widget appearance? So right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace. I would recommend changing this to some other female figure that doesn't look like this, because every high level um, uses the same one. And so in my case, I already have somebody or someone that I created through AI. And let me just go ahead and replace that. All right, so as you can see, I have this person, this AI figure, so I'm going to use that. And so I'm going to double click on it. And as you can see now, it gets replaced. And so as you can see here, that's how it looks. And then we're going to go ahead and just save that, right? And then we're going to get the code, right? Let me just get the code. And this is the code that you're going to provide. So I'm going to copy this, and this code is what I'm going to deliver for um, to the client. All right, so let me put that code somewhere that I can remember. All right, so I copy that code where I can copy and paste to give to the client. And so let's go ahead and get out of this. And then let's go to settings. And now we're going to go and set up the email services. So these are the 3 quickest wins that you can deliver, right? Let's go to email services. Let's go to so we're in email services, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a dedicated domain. All right, so what we're going to do here, and so in this case, so typically I think the for this particular client, they already have a website guy using the subdomain, a specific subdomain they're using, I think is send. So what we're going to utilize is another subdomain email, right? And then whatever the client's domain is, you're going to put it in here, and then you're going to add and verify. So I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to blur it out for the sake of the privacy of my client. So I've put the subdomain email and then the client's domain, right? And so what we're going to do here now is we're going to add and verify, okay? They're not going to likely have the DNS records. And then we're going to add the records manually, okay? All these records, you're just going to have to copy and paste to a certain if you have access to the domain, right? In my case, I don't have access because it's another agency that has handled their website and their domain. And so I'm going to forward this information to the client and have the client forward it to their website administrator. So that way I have um, I can get these records in. And so one other thing to note here, okay, and I just want to make sure there's a DMARC setting that you don't see here, right? And I'll show you how to get that so that you can um, um, forward that. All right, so let me go and copy these records onto an area. So I usually have a Google Doc. I have two computer screens. I'm going to copy the Google Doc. I mean the records onto my Google Doc here. And so all I do is I put a text record. So I will say text. So I'll put it on my Google Doc, and I'll copy this and I'll copy that. And so you have to forward that information. Okay. All right, so as you can see, these are the three systems that we implement: the reply, the review reply, the chat widget, and the email systems that we need to implement to get the email systems up and running. There are other things that we implement before and after as well. So I'm not going to go over those, but if you do follow along, I would suggest that you do join our community and ask your questions, and you can also ask them below. And I try to get to as many of the questions as I can. But yeah, I think that's about it. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. And of course, like if you enjoyed this video, and of course, subscribe if you want to know more about what we're doing and just follow along with our journey. All right. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.